Welcome everyone to episode 91 of Raw Sport. My name is Ahmed Al-Houli and we're back with another big show with the man himself, Mr. Rick Glaser. Rick, what's going on, my man?
It's another Monday night. Glad to be back here with you. And you're going to have a real quick 30-minute fire away. I'm ready. I was born ready.
There you go. I was ready. Massive decision came in last Friday. Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach. New York State Athletic Commission upholds the draw. Do you believe it's fair, or did we see robbery, my friend?
I think it's terrible because they said that the referee made a mistake and missed the knockdown. He didn't miss the knockdown. He started counting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a joke. It's horrible. It really is. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to boxing, the athletic commission, everybody involved. It's terrible.
We had this discussion with Lamont Roach's promoter, Mr. Gary Jonas, on this show last week, and we went into this about the New York State Athletic Commission and what they're likely to do. I firmly believe they are still very, very old school bureaucrats that it's going to be very hard to get a decision overturned with them. How much does this now impact the upcoming fight and Roach as a fighter?
You know what? Most people look like that he won the fight, but it does hurt him. It does hurt him, of course, that they didn't properly award him the decision. What can I say? I mean, it's horrible.
But,
if I was involved, I'd be filing a lawsuit. That's all I got to say.
But I want you to go here into the persona of the fighter, his demeanor, his attitude for his upcoming fight. What do you think it does to him?
Probably gets him pissed off, and it'll motivate him even more.
Interesting. Do you think this will continue to occur moving forward? Because when was the last time we seen anything overturned, really, other than the...
They always protect their own, especially in New York State. It's in Nevada. It's terrible. It's fucking horrible.
You're saying they protect their own. What does their own mean?
Their own officials.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They're incompetent. I'm not calling it corruption. They're at least incompetent. There's no less than incompetency here.
Okay. Interesting. All right. We will keep going. I mean, there has been... it's the announcements have not stopped since last week, and the conversation has been firing online. Different feedback, different opinions. TKO Boxing League, a game changer or a takeover, Mr. Glaser? Give us your thoughts, my friend.
I think it's a game changer, but I don't think it's a takeover. There'll be enough other promoters. There's enough other promoters around the world, between the UK, Japan, Russia, the Ukraine, all over the world. Boxing is Canada, Mexico. I don't think it's a takeover. I think it's a game changer. There's no question about that, especially if they attempt to get rid of the four organizations like they're talking about and just using the ring belt.
They're talking about getting rid of the four organizations. They're talking about getting rid of the few weight divisions and going back to the original.
Yeah, that's a danger zone for me. That's a complete danger zone for me.
They're talking about pretty much one world title per weight division.
They're basically saying if you can't make 118, you got to fight at 26. Too big of a jump. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot. That's mass. A lot of mass on little guys. Too much.
That's what they're saying.
Right. So they're saying if you can't make 105, there's no 108. You got to go up to 112. I mean, it's nuts.
Dana specifically said we have to go in and rebuild the sport from the core up, right? This now presents a sport where we are seeing literally a replica of the UFC in boxing. Over the weekend, many boxing fans tuned into UFC, and there was a lot of commentary around why people now why Dana's moving to boxing, because apparently, according to boxing fans, the UFC was boring as shit, basically. So anyway, let's just talk. But what I'm trying to say to you is the direction here is definitely moving towards a UFC model in boxing, and the opinions, whether they are good or bad, they are opinions. But we want a clearer understanding, Rick, on the actual landscape of boxing and why he can't do what he did in the UFC in boxing. Like, because what people don't understand is the belts, what they mean, their heritage, the infrastructure around the organizations.
Understand this: UFC's only been around for about 33 years, I believe. So I think it started like 92 or 93. Okay, there is no heritage compared to boxing, and they developed their own belts. Okay, fine. And the ring's been around a long time, the ring belt. But the WBC, the WBA, people want to see unification bouts and undisputed fights. They don't want to see a champion fighting a challenger every day. They want to see unification. And that's how you do it with having the 4 belts. Now, do I think that organizations need tweaking? I've said that for a long time. Okay. Especially the IBF. Okay, I mean, they need more tweaking than anybody. Their rules are obsolete. What do I think? I think that they need the organizations. I don't think they realize it, and I think it can coexist with the Ring magazine, where the guy who becomes undisputed also becomes the Ring magazine champion or the Ring champion, something like that. I don't know exactly. I'd have to think about it, but I think the organizations, what I told other people is they're an evil necessity, but they are definitely a necessity.
Well, we saw last week Turki Alalshikh told Canelo not to bring up the WBC belt.
Hey, wait. The part you didn't see was they told William Skull he couldn't bring his IBF belt on the thing.
I was getting there, yeah. So pretty much don't bring up any of the belts, right? So that's a message to the sanctioning body.
But then why make Canelo with Skull if they're not going to recognize the title? Because that's the only reason why Canelo wants to fight him. You're defeating the purpose here.
Maybe they want him to fight because he's the champion of that body, but he's not going to recognize the bodies. I don't know.
But that's the point. Why use him, who can't sell a ticket?
Good question. I don't know.
Honestly, what you are is you're dummying up your own promotion.
You are, and then
you're dummying up your own promotion.
I think there's also a lot of compulsive decision making happening at the moment from the Turkey camp. We saw that in the on the John McAfee show with Nick Khan and Dana White, and he's just announcing things nonstop, and they're asking him to pump the brakes. I don't know. I'm just seeing a lot of compulsive actions happening without much thought, really. I could be wrong, but that's what we're saying. What do you say in defense of the belts? What do you say to those that have the argument of boxing has turned over trillions of dollars in its history, right? And nobody's ever thought to formalize a league of such, because that's also
Al Heyman attempted to do that, but he failed greatly.
So Al Heyman was trying to do something good for the sport.
He thought so. I never did.
We're seeing Turkey try and do the same now. What is the difference?
Well, I'm not saying it works. I think you need the 4 belts.
A famous man by the name of Bob Arum said I think the Las Vegas desert is filled with bones of
bleached bones
who try to change the sport of boxing. Okay, let's keep going. There's been some interesting activity around Turki Alalshikh and some of the promoters actually. I mean, what we're seeing here is, has Turkey turned on the promoters who were probably an integral part of building this vision of his? What do you believe? Because we're seeing all of a sudden Eddie Hearn's out of the picture. They're literally like, he's literally moved on from everyone. In all the press they did last week with TKO, they said specifically, we're going to build something to smash all the other promotions. No bars accepted. Nobody was said, not this guy or this. No, he literally said, we're going to smash all the promoters. He goes, I like Dana White because Dana White's a bulldozer. He's going to smash them all, basically. What are your thoughts?
I don't know how they're going to do that. If they go to ESPN, who's going to go on DAZN with all these shows?
Good question. Valid question. And then we saw also actually one point as well in regards to Turkey. Mauricio Suleiman came out and said some positive things. Said, yeah, this is all good for boxing. We have no objection. But the talk is he wasn't too happy about his belt being targeted. But if I go back to Eddie Hearn was given a platform with Turki Alalshikh. I believe he was given the platform to go and deliver what Turkey wanted, and I believe he failed. I don't think he gave Turkey what he wanted. He couldn't conquer the States. He did beautiful shows in England and in the UK and Saudi. But when it comes to America, Eddie's never been able to conquer America, even when the zone gave him the $1 billion. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is why he's turned on them?
I don't know why, but you know, there's a laundry list of reasons why, but that would be just one of them. I feel. I don't.
What do you got?
You know what? I don't know. I'm not really sure if he has something negative about Golden Boy or Frank Warren and Golden Boy, because they haven't said anything, and Frank Warren has just got the DAZN deal, and I know he was influential in helping Turkey was influential in helping him get the DAZN deal, from what I was told. So, and Turkey owns 13% of DAZN. So I don't see that, and Golden Boy shows are on DAZN. So I don't know. I think he's targeting Eddie Hearn for multiple reasons. And I think he is going to be the promoter mostly affected by this. I don't think Golden Boy, and I don't think Frank Warren.
Why do you say that? Why Eddie?
Well, because Eddie's already come out with defensive statements, and Oscar's never said anything, and Oscar's as vocal as they come, and so is Frank Warren. He's never said anything.
Other than the statements, what's happened that you can see that you think has made the tide shift?
Just everything. Eddie overpays. Eddie overpays way too much, and he uses up other people's money to in a negative way. He's done it with his own. Now he's done it with Turkey's money and the things that aren't financially feasible. Too many things.
But Turkey's the same. I mean, he's putting on all these free events.
But the point is, Frank is more budget conscious, and so is Golden Boy.
Where does Golden Boy come into this?
What's that?
Where does Golden Boy come into all of this?
Well, they're on DAZN. Oscar's got a great relationship with Turki Alalshikh, including selling him the Ring magazine. I don't think there's no bad animosity between the two of them that I know of, and I've heard, and I know Oscar thinks very highly of them. And this is long past the closing date of them buying the magazine. So this is out of sincerity. I've heard nothing but great things from Oscar and from Eric Gomez. That Turkey's a very intelligent, classy, a gentleman. Never a negative word.
If we look at the landscape, and we look at where Golden Boy plays a lot of their fighters, that contender level, those prospects, Hispanic backgrounds that they recruit and so on. Don't you say there's a cross? There's a cross between them and what TKO is trying to achieve. Eventually,
Oscar and Eric have developed a lot of talent over the last few years. I mean, Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, big attractions too. A whole bunch. Oscar Collazo, world 105-pound unified champ, undefeated. I mean, they've got a whole bunch of really good fighters. You know, I mean, they acquired Arnold Barbosa from Top Rank. They were free agent and Jose Ramirez, but I mean, Zorro Ramirez, they reincarnated him. He's now a unified world cruiserweight champ. They're doing something right.
Well, what I'm saying is, aren't their fighters, the majority of their fighters, going to be targets for this new TKO Boxing League?
Could be.
Because the contender prospect level is where they're playing it heavily in boxing at the moment.
Well, we'll see. That's all I have to say. We'll see.
And then
don't forget, it's going to depend. It's going to depend who's running TKO on a daily basis. That's going to have a lot to do with it.
And Dana White was asked if he's going to be on stage with Oscar De La Hoya and Bob Arum, and he goes, "I hope not." So it's not.
What say what he said.
He said, "I hope not." And he's gone after Oscar a few times over the years. So, but hey, Turkey's fixed a lot of broken relationships. Maybe this is another one. We'll move on. There was some big news yesterday around, and I believe this is an interesting one, around Bivol and Benavidez. Is Eddie Hearn flexing his power, trying to get back at Turkey and telling him, okay, you want to play that game? I'm going the other way, and I'm going to work with Al Haymon. What are your thoughts?
I don't think anybody wants to work with Al Haymon. I can't think too much of them. So there's your answer.
Well, in all fairness, Rick, last week they had 20,000 people at the Barclays, like full to the brim. From all reports, people were there. People were speaking highly of them. Their fighters have been in events, big events, almost now on the weekly or bi-weekly. There's a bit of activity happening
I don't know. They only did 5 events last year.
But that's the past. That's the past. We're talking about this
year.
Yeah,
but how many are going to do this year? They're only scheduled to do 7.
No, but
they're barely in business. They have Tank. Canelo's not with them anymore. Canelo was 2 out of those 5 dates last year. The 5th day was Tim Tszyu getting knocked out on free Amazon. And so they got Tank for 2 shows this year.
What about this year? We've had a few.
Benavidez is not an attraction, not a pay-per-view attraction.
With the right card, if you build the right card around him, you can potentially sell it. I mean, you know that much better than me.
Yet to be seen. Yet to be seen.
Let's look at the political side of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Eddie Hearn turns around and says, when we talk, well, he didn't say it, but Samson said, and Bivol's manager said that there's conversations happening, but they're far from being finalized.
Mm-hmm.
From a political aspect, the landscape, analyzing the landscape, what does that tell you from the outside?
Well, it tells me that Eddie and Turkey are at odds, obviously.
Yeah, and then could this lead to more of a collaboration between PBC and Matchroom?
Probably not.
Why do you say that?
What does PBC have to offer? David Benavidez? They don't have anything else. What do they have?
They have a few fighters in the lower weight divisions. It could be Eddie's entry into the States. It could be multiple.
They don't have anything that's an attraction. They have Tank and David Benavidez a little bit. They don't have anything else that anybody would be remotely interested in.
What about Top Rank? What does Top Rank have?
Nothing. They have no pay-per-view stars. They got no TV after July 26th. They are in trouble.
Do you see where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going with this?
What are you saying? Misery loves company?
Do you see where I'm going with this or not?
Not really.
Eddie's now on the other side. Top Ranks needs a partner, a dancing partner. PBC needs a dancing partner.
Are they going to form a collaboration between the three of them? They could.
There's one more. He was on the show last week.
What?
The big dog Gary Jonas was on the show last week. There's one more.
Yeah, no, I understand. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Organizations there that could form a bit of a block for Turkey and TKO because
we'll see.
Because they control a huge number of fighters. The only one that's missing is Oscar. If Oscar comes along, this TKO challenge is this TKO league is going to be a very hard league to build.
Oscar's not going along with that crew.
I'm just telling you, from a talent perspective, the only one that's missing is Oscar.
Oscar's not going to go along with that crew.
Why not?
Because there's no reason to. Got a very successful business with his own platform that he's on now, that he's been on for a long time, and he's staying there.
I reckon he's red meat swimming with sharks. They're waiting for him.
We'll see.
All right, let's keep going. There was a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk recently about fighter pay from the last crescendo. I'm sure you've got information on this.
It's totally false.
So
totally false.
Sorry, wrong one. Yeah.
Virgil, he said Virgil Ortiz and Carlos Adames were not paid. First of all, Turki Alalshikh doesn't pay these people. Their own promoters pay them. Turki Alalshikh pays the promoter.
Yeah.
Oscar was paid, and the fighter Virgil Ortiz was paid. Okay, Adames, I'm sure, I don't know. I'm sure they were paid too, and they haven't paid their own fighter. That's their business. Nothing to do with Turki Alalshikh. Believe me, everybody's been paid.
Okay, so you're saying everyone's been paid?
No, I didn't say the fighter was paid. Golden Boy was paid, and I would have no reason to believe that the PBC or one of their operatives weren't paid. Whether they paid the fighter, that's their business. But it had nothing to do with Turki Alalshikh. You contract with a promoter, and the promoter contracts with his own fighter. Okay, Turkey's not contracting with the fighters; he's contracting with the promoters.
There you go. So we just needed to clear that up for people, because a lot of people are asking these questions online and they're accusing Turkey of not paying, which doesn't really make sense.
On the internet. Virgil went on the internet today saying it's false. I was paid. He said he was paid. I know, and there's no reason why any of those guys weren't paid. If they didn't pay Carlos Adames, that's between them and PBC. But I'm sure PBC or one of their operatives was paid. Whatever.
Okay, some questions from the fans. Let's bring it up on screen. Why is Keith Thurman fighting Brock Jarvis? Is Brock Jarvis really a draw like that in Australia?
He's not really a draw, but they're trying to build up that the winner of this fight, no matter who wins, is going to fight Tim Tszyu. So they're trying to build up a name guy. So they feel that if Jarvis beats a name American, he'll make a good foil for Tim Tszyu. And if Keith Thurman wins, who they think is a big name in America, he's yesterday's news, but coming off a big win over Australia, that'll create a big fight over there. So no matter who wins, the winner's going to fight Tim Tszyu, what it amounts to.
Absolutely. And just so you all know, Jeff Fennick was Brock Jarvis's trainer for a long time. He is no longer training him and will not be in his corner. Quite the tragedy. Another question from the fans. Rick, you're a loved man, Rick. Rick, any news on pay-per-view numbers yet for Tank versus Roach? You're known as the man to break this.
No, there's not. That I don't have for a fact. I heard a number, it's pretty low. So I'm trying to verify it in the next 24 hours.
Well, there you go, fans. Rick doesn't just throw things out there. Those that accuse him of that about PBC, he verifies all this information before he puts it out there. Hey, Rick.
Yeah, if I can't verify it, I'm not going to put it out.
There you go. All right, Rick, that brings me to the end of our segment. Do you have any interesting words for us this week? Anything that I've missed?
Well, my wife hasn't threatened to leave me in 11 years and 4 months, and so that's doing pretty good.
Hey, you said you got some big business announcements on your Twitter page, but we haven't seen anything yet.
It's coming.
Can you give us a clue?
Good developments for me. One is a put the brakes on a situation, and another one's a good situation. Let's put it this way to you, okay? There's news coming, and there's prospects that are coming.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Hey, Ricky, you always carry on about one thing I've realized. And I'm going to say this on air. You keep saying it doesn't matter who owns the boxing league. It's about who the TKO Boxing League. It's who's going to do the day-to-day, well, who's going to be day-to-day in charge. What do you keep saying there? Do you have a wish
Well,
for something?
it's gonna be who's gonna sign the fighters, who's gonna make the fights, who's gonna dwell out the money. I mean, Dana White doesn't have enough hours in a day now. Nick Khan, he's running WWE. They need people to run the business.
I feel like you know something and you're not telling us.
No, it's not true.
All right,
It's in
man.
your mind. That's in your mind only. I promise.
Could be.
But at
Could
least
be.
I admit you have a mind. Most people I can't say that about.
There he goes. There he goes. He's woken up. All right. All right, Rick. Thank you very much for joining me once again. Thank you all to those who have tuned in. Take care, everyone. We'll catch you on the next episode of Raw Sport. Take care. Goodbye.